Hello and welcome to the Alchemists Inkwell. We have returned.
This is your spiritual podcast for grounded people. You're right. It's been a little while since we've been together. I hope everybody enjoyed Emily's live last week.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a vibe. I hope everyone enjoyed it too, but I enjoyed it. It was a good time.
That's what matters, honestly. Because the vibe translates. Am I right? By the way, I'm KristaLyn.
Oh, I'm Emily. Hello.
Yeah.
You can see if you're watching, we have big names now.
Yeah, we have big names now. It doesn't really tell you much about us individually, and I realize we don't really share this. But like, this is your spiritual podcast for grounded people. That's really what you need to know. That, as well as, we have a lot of experience in esoteric, spiritual, and paranormal practices. So you can trust us. Check out previous episodes for proof. But honestly, yeah.
You can trust us.
You can trust me. Yeah.
I've been feeling extra psychic lately. I don't know about you. I have been extra.
I have been, and I haven't been remembering to remember that I have been. So stuff will happen and I'm just like, oh crap. Like I knew that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, every week I'll do my energy forecast for the week and then it'll happen and I'll be like, damn it.
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
My horoscopes that I do every week for every rising sign, which by the way, I do horoscopes for rising signs every week. I will have a week, look back at my horoscope for my own rising sign and just be like, yeah, you saw that coming, you bonehead.
You knew it, dang you.
You knew it. Yeah, they do say that you're a good astrologer when you forget your own chart, but I must be incredible.
Or just neurodivergent.
I'm so focused on what does the astrology say that I'm like, oh right, I'm a human being here too. Right. Yeah, it applies.
On the note of being a human being here too, happy Pride Month!
Happy Pride Month! Yay!
June is the best month of the whole year.
It is quite a good month.
It is the best. We
Several
get to
people...
be in Iceland on the Rainbow Road during Pride Month. That's really cool.
I know. I'm stoked about that. Hopefully under the rainbow of the Northern Lights if the sun decides to throw a party.
The sun doesn't decide. We decided already.
We invite the sun to a party and the sun shows up.
I mean, I work with the sun god very closely, so I'm going to be like, yo, go kick the sun a bunch and make the sparks happen, please. I want to see.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Please show me the pretty things.
Oh, I did rainbow nails for Pride Month.
Look at that. That is really nice. I like the way that they blend into each other. Hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, which if you're not, this is available on YouTube, The Alchemists Inkwell. So you can check us out there as well. We do have some stuff we actually want to talk about today, as well as a bookend episode with Higa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, let me just explain why I'm perky right now. It's because the benefics, by the way, if you don't know, astrology is my first love language, and I'm so excited because the benefics, who have been struggling, are finally both getting into signs of really good dignity for them. So signs that treat them really well this weekend. So on Friday, I believe it is, I'm going to double check that, but I think it's okay, fine. It's Friday. And it is.
Okay, fine.
This is my time word this year. And I'm telling you, one of the new guides that just came in recently over Sacred Spaces Getaway has been using music and the music of my ringtone to sass the heck out of me.
Get it.
So I welcome it. It's been really nice, actually. So Venus does come in on Friday, which is Venus's day. Love that. She comes in to Taurus, which is the sign of her domicile. She has been having it rough since January. She's either been in Aries or in Pisces, retrograding back into Aries, or in Aries trying to make her way to Taurus. Now she finally gets to Taurus, and she will have that dignity of being in Taurus for a little while. I think it's until July 4th she'll hang out in Taurus, which is great. And also, the other benefic. So Venus is what's considered the lesser benefic only because she's smaller. The greater benefic, the big guy, is Jupiter. And Jupiter has been in detriment for a whole year since last May. So Jupiter is now moving into not just domicile. No. It's exaltation. So this is a step up. Think about being at home is really nice. You have all your stuff there. But think about going where they just reserved the presidential suite for you and all your meals are covered. It's kind of like going on a trip with us. What? Yeah, you are exalted. You should do. Yes. So Jupiter is coming into Cancer and will stay there until mid-June next year. So we get a year of Jupiter being in this position. Heck yes, I will be making talismans for this. I'm so excited. I have waited since 2021 to be able to make a good Jupiter talisman. So now is my time, especially since it's my Jupiter return. Whoop, whoop. So
that's fun.
Yes.
Honestly, if anyone's like, it went in last May and then everything got real fucky and gross. Correct. It did.
Well,
and now it's not going to be that way the same way.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like to add to that even more in my nerdy way, which I love to do, I was just doing this on my live this morning on my YouTube, where both benefics, right? Think of them as like Santa Claus. So they've got their sack of what should be toys or the things that you're wishing for, right? It's like, you put this on your list. Here, I brought it for you. But the sack was busted from like the beginning of this year especially, right? Neither benefics were in a condition to be able to deliver on good things. The malefics were popping off. So bad things were popping off all over the place. Middling things were popping off all over the place. But the good things were unable to pop. So now we're coming into a time where we have a patch update on the Santa bag, and now good things can come out of it again. It has what it needs to function. So if you've been having a time of it, there are so many reasons that validate what you've been experiencing. And also there are reasons to believe that it should be improving at least a little bit, especially over the next month.
I will also say too, it's been specifically this week and throughout this month in general, there's like a really interesting callback energy to previous years. 2020, 2021 is like very significant. I'm sure there is astrology about that.
There is.
But I'm feeling that energy so much so where I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to just this week focus on reposting old content from that time to see if it hits again. Just to see and experiment with the energy in general from that time period. Because that's what it feels like it's lighting up very significantly. Which also means probably expect some callbacks to that time that are going to come up for you very naturally. I think in good ways. To be totally honest, healing that you've gone through, journeys that you've connected with, people maybe that you haven't talked to since then, but not in a bad way, just like they're popping back up. I was looking at the energy of this week, and that was what I was like, ooh, it's like retro, but in a very nearby way.
Yeah.
Like in a very recent way, it feels very retro. So
yeah, contemporary retro.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something about that is just like, it's kind of just reassuring. Like there's something about it that's just very deeply reassuring, I guess.
Can I explain the astrology?
Please.
Thank you. So the callback is because of a cycle that is a 20-year cycle that recurs roughly every 20 years or so, give or take. And that was in 2020. We had Jupiter and Saturn in the same sign. At the time, it was Capricorn, where Saturn had domicile, and Jupiter is actually in the sign of his fall. It's the opposite of what he's in right now, right? Well, what he's coming into this weekend. So exalted, woohoo, we love it. Cancer is where Jupiter is exalted. The opposite of Cancer is Capricorn, where Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto and Mars, everybody was ganging up in Capricorn during 2020, which is why it was such a once-in-a-lifetime cluster of awfulness and change, right? Change, reestablishing things, bulldozing the old, and having to build a new foundation. So in that, we have 20 years before they meet up again. When they perfectly met up, it was in Aquarius, which is still Saturn's territory, but Jupiter's not doing as bad there. And it was in 2020 on the winter solstice, right? We had this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. Everybody was calling it like a Star of Bethlehem situation. I could go into that. It is really cool. It brings in a whole dynasty that's going to last a couple hundred years for us. So again, if you're thinking, wow, we're definitely not going back, we're not going back. This is a new dynasty. However, now what we're experiencing between last year and this year, last year we had Saturn in Pisces while Jupiter was in Gemini. Jupiter was in detriment. Saturn has nothing really going for it or against it in Pisces, so it was kind of just sitting there being Saturn. And with that, the benefic was struggling and they were square each other. So that square that they were having was saying like, hey, since 2020, what's been going on? And I feel like a really good way to explain it is pointing out the problems that exist that need addressing, because Jupiter was struggling. Saturn has the overcoming of that square, so has the upper hand of it. And they were going back and forth with that square. Now they're going to have this square again. They're going to have the square perfecting this month on the 15th. But this time, Jupiter is exalted and Saturn is in the sign of his fall. So Saturn loses that edge that they had before. Jupiter now has the upper hand. So where we were like, hey, noticing some problems that are still not solved since 2020, and it's really becoming apparent right now, we're now going to say, hey, noticing some solutions that I plan on now implementing that will fix what's been going wrong since 2020, and I'm not turning back from this. So that's lightly getting into how the astrology affirms that energy we're feeling.
I've been really heavily playing, to like build off of that, I've been really healthily playing with the algorithm as a deity and like communicating with algorithm that's what I call them, algorithm as a deity, and being like, what about this? And can I offer this? And whatever. And there's multiple different ones. They're all different deities, right? It's not like one that covers all algorithms at all. But I'm playing with that and just watching how deeply it is affected by the energy of collective hitting that week. Yeah. It's so deep. It's so interesting. And so I'm like, oh, I'm getting callback kind of videos to that time. People are like, the energy feels the same. Even my own stuff is going like more viral in different ways, or like it feels very similar. And I was like, okay, so you're feeling this and responding to that too. It's so deeply influenced by the energy of collective. It's such a it's a wild vibe.
Yeah. Well, everybody is putting their intention into it all the time, whether you're just observing it or you're actually creating in it.
It's the most intense thought form spirit that we've ever made.
Agreed. I can't wait for us to, understand and grasp it better.
But anyway, so just even watching that, I'm like, oh yeah, we're getting fed different things, social media wise and media in general wise, TV and movies and that sort of stuff. Even social justice things are coming back the way they did in like 2020, 2021 in like really powerful ways, which is good. We need that.
We need that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm glad that I'm sure there was an astrological reason for it anyway, but just from what I was seeing in the energy space, it's like, oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I mean, also, I love June in general. It always just is such a beautiful month. Not just because it's my birth month. I am biased slightly, but truly, it is just always a really lovely month for the energy. I think it's partly Pride Month. It's like the start of summer. There's a lot of like release because so many like kids get out of school and things like that happen, and we're so used to that cycle because many of us have been raised in that cycle to like this is when we would get out of school, right?
Yep.
So because of that, I think there's just this really lovely renewal that happens every June, and I'm really here for it. When I keep looking at this energy, like I've been looking forward to this month since January, basically, if not before, when I was like, what's the year gonna look like? Well, June starts things looking nice, and the second half feels a lot better, but the first half was like, so.
Yeah. The amount of consultations where I've been like, but it's probably going to start getting a lot easier in June. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those as well. And it's not just because I know what's going to happen like astrologically and energetically in June. I'll look into people's personal stuff and I'll be like, cool. After June, it gets better. Things shift. Things move around here. So that's good. We like that. Yay.
Yeah. Finally. Honestly, we deserve it. We
do. Everybody right now, tell yourself you deserve good things, please. Because you do. Yeah. You genuinely do.
100%.
Oh my goodness. Well, shall we book in Higa? We haven't done a lot of Higa in a while, so I think maybe doing multiple questions there would be really fun.
Yeah, I think so
for
too.
this episode. If you're new here, the reason we're saying if you're new here, we've gotten a good amount of new listeners recently. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Good to see you.
We like you. Thanks for being here. But we do, at the end of each month, we do a bookend episode where we talk about what we read that month. And we are passionate about high vibration fiction, so we tend to talk about that extensively. We can also talk about what we watched that month too. That tends to also end up coming into the title.
High vibe entertainment doesn't just have to be books. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even high vibe, but we talk about what entertained us as I'm about to tell you what I watched this month. And you'll be like, all right.
Yeah.
It's fine. And then we do Higa. So Higa is a concept in Norwegian culture, which is essentially like it's a fuzzy warm blanket around you while you sit in front of the fire. So Higa questions. We play Higa the game. Speaking of that, if the company who makes Higa the game wants to sponsor us, you're welcome to.
Yeah, we will talk about you every month at least.
But we ask each other questions from this game and answer them. And there's thousands of questions in this game, and it's really fun. And so we get to know each other better and the spirit better, and it's just really a fun vibe. Before we get into that, though, which I'm really excited to tell you what I read and stuff this month. Really quick announcements.
Yeah.
Just want to do that in the middle here.
Exciting things to share, you guys.
Super exciting things. If you've been wondering, when is Sacred Spaces Gathering happening? We now have tickets on sale for you.
The website is live.
Yeah, the website is live, sacredspacesgathering.com. I know it's really hard to remember, but sacredspacesgathering.com. We have been building this for a while, and we're kind of doing a little bit of a scaled back version from things we've done in the past, but honestly, it focuses heavily on just being connected. It is an event of spiritual connection where we're just going to connect with each other, hang out with each other, and being listeners of the podcast, we're actually going to do a live podcast recording with Rebecca and us that's going to have some like really fun interactive elements, some storytelling elements. It's going to be super duper fun, and that's one one of kind of like the paramount events that is occurring with this Sacred Spaces gathering. It is happening in Richmond, Virginia in August, and tickets are officially live, and we are doing a bonus triple read add-on. So if you want to get a reading with both of us and Rebecca all together at the same time, and we have very limited tickets for that, but that is also an add-on that's available. But we are doing everything from like, we're doing a spiritual scavenger hunt, which is ends in a meetup, which is also has like discount codes and like perks to get to do that. Then we're going to do, like we mentioned, the triple read. If you want to add that on, we're doing our live podcast recording. We're going to have a reader fair, and then we're going to have like a super fun after party situation of all of it. So it's just going to be a really fun time. I'm really excited.
Yeah, we say scaled down, but it's really just not that scaled down, just simplified.
Just simplified. It's less of a like conference setting where you're sitting and doing workshops, and more of a like spiritual connection and living spiritual adventure.
Yeah.
To be totally honest.
Which hopefully, we just need more of that right now. It's been a year. There's been a lot of stress. We just need something where we can connect with people and remember that spirituality and the higher movements of what's going on still exist, even though we are functioning within them and not bypassing them, which is always going to be one of our emphases in this.
Yeah. And you get to hang out with us. And we get to hang with you, which
great.
we love. So we would love for you to come and spend a weekend with us in Richmond. Again, sacredspacesgathering.com. That's available. Also, we do have a couple spots left on our Thailand trip and a couple spots left on our Peru trip. If you're in a space where you're finally like, you know what, I don't care what the world is doing. I need to go be more me. I need to be more connected. I don't want to stop adventuring. That's why we're holding. Like that's literally it.
If you need an escape from the bubble that we are in especially the United Statesian territory.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to include all of America in that. There are more than just the U.S. in that. But if you need to get out of that bubble, trust me, it helps to get out of that bubble. We have opportunities to do that with great and excellent people and amazing things that will turn into fantastic stories for you.
Absolutely. And we're going to announce our next trip very soon. So in the next couple weeks, pay attention. However, honestly, I'm so excited for Thailand. The things that we're doing there are like once in a lifetime things, honestly. Like go look at the itinerary, guys, because like when I say once in a lifetime things, I'm like, okay, I would like to go cuddle with rescue elephants. That sounds great. Like that level.
Those questions didn't need to be asked.
Okay. Just dumped them. Awesome. Love it. They're just magical, magical things. And same thing with Peru. It's not just Machu Picchu. And I just want to be like really clear about that. We go to a different set of ruins that each set of ruins that we go to every day that we're in Peru has like magical ritual spaces. Like they all have very intentional, like we're a ritual space or a festival location or whatever it is. And for some reason, when I feel out Peru, I'm like, there's a reason that is happening. Like there's a reason we're going there, and it feels very meaningful.
This is so weird. Like I can feel my energy in Thailand already. I can also feel the stars in Peru.
That's valid.
I feel like, and I remember like being in the Andes. I've been in the Andes before, and they just seem so close when you're there. And I can feel like the energy that in astrology we acknowledge that the stars have daimons or spirits to them, and I can feel the daimones of the stars kind of already reaching out to what we're going to be doing there, and I'm very excited about that.
So yeah, we would love for you to come check that out. We will link it below in the show notes, or you can go to the link in either of our bios, or you could just search travel with Emily and KristaLyn. You'll find it.
The food is going to be incredible as well. Food
in both locations. My God, do I want to eat yummy food.
I'm so ready.
Also, payment plans are available, by the way. For all of the trips we do all the time, payment plans are always available. So yeah, we would love for you to come. One final announcement just from me. If you have been wanting to get mentored by me, if you really want to take the next step in your spiritual journey and you want to go deeper, what I mean by going deeper is understanding like who your higher self is, your soul story, where you came from, the beings that you're connected with, your realms, really diving into like your magic work and like understanding that, diving into guides deeper, understanding how to do realm work or ley line work or whatever, like very, very deep, bigger spiritual concepts. My Train With Me program is launching again. It is my like higher level mentorship. You just need to have a decent amount of spiritual experience first, even if you're like, I don't know if I have enough, but it feels like I might. Go ahead and apply. And the applications are open for that as of right now. And I would really, really love to mentor you. This is like, you meet with me twice a week. We do mentorship that way with a group. It is very tight knit. You have a learning call and a Q&A call, plus a whole curriculum, plus meditations, plus we do astral work. Like there's a ton of different stuff that we do. And if you're like, I haven't done astral before, that's fine. We teach you. But it's a really deep, powerful program, and I am really excited to be starting it again. So if you want to do that with me, I would love it. Please apply. Thank you. Do you have anything going on you want to announce with that too?
I mean, I'm always running my education stuff in the Modern School of Ancient Wisdom on Patreon. So if you want to learn folk magic and astrology and get lessons, I think we have like 3 or 4 calls a month. Almost every week we have a call. We have a book club. So you get, like, if you're always like, I wish I were more well read, but I wish it was something that was easier to just get done. We do that. The reason we have a book club is so that before you know it, you are extraordinarily well read in traditional stuff, whether it's fiction, nonfiction, all sorts of stuff. We did, magical resistance and resilience by reading grimoires. We do some classical stuff. We're going to be reading a book in June this month about ensoulment, when the soul comes into the body, according to Porphyry of Tyr, which was translated by someone who's actually going to join our Q&A call in the beginning of July to talk about the translation process, their perspective on it. I got to talk to them at Norwalk, and I was like, hey, we're doing your book. Do you want to be on? And they were like, yeah. So they're going to come and guest it on it. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So it's how to become the mage you've always wanted to be, with really good friends and at a pace that's very manageable and feels like you're always making progress, but you're not overwhelmed. So
I love that.
Idea. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right. Those are our announcements.
All right.
What
Well,
did you read this month?
This month, I read The Lost Story by Meg Schaefer. It was adorable.
Was it good?
It was good. It was a good story. I liked it a lot. And there's obviously going to be a second one. I think the only thing that I would critique on it is the whole time there was like every chapter started with like a storyteller's corner. And so you had this storyteller kind of coming out. Sorry, guys. Storyteller coming out of the story and being like, this background stuff and this and this and this. And it's like, I can figure that out if you just let me get back into the story, you know? But at the end, you find out that that person was always a character throughout. And like, I knew it from the start, but they also let you know that there's more coming in the story, which is good. So I feel like the main plot point actually was in the very end of it and then leads into the second book. And I would have liked to see more emphasis on the plot point that I was looking forward to in the book.
She's the TikToker that does cozy fiction stuff.
I believe
right?
so. Meg Schaefer? Yeah.
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 I thought that.
Really enjoyable. I was not mad. And I'm still in the energy of it. So the energy is there. Like, I'm still living in that story, even though I've read 2 books since then. I'm looking forward to the next one coming out. I will read it.
Oh, no, that's Meg Hood. Okay, that's not the one I was thinking of. But, okay, that's good to know.
Yeah. And then I read the book Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse.
How was it?
It actually, okay, so here's my thing. I read this because I wanted to see if I could use it as a comp for my story, Tear Down the Sky, which, by the way, I'm pitching if any agents are looking. I liked it to a point. I loved the world. I loved the way it was built. It was extraordinarily thought out. I didn't feel like going into the 3rd book, though, because by that point, I was like kind of over the main characters. So really well thought out, really in depth, but I didn't feel attached to the characters. I didn't feel like the characters really gripped me. So while the world was happening, if you want like a plot-driven book that's a lot of intrigue and stuff, fantastic. The first 2 books were good, like well written, all that stuff. I just didn't feel like going through another several hours of listening to more when I read the summary for the 3rd, because I was like, oh, this again. So, you know, give it a try if you're interested in that kind of stuff. There's a celestial kind of magic system that's sort of their religion. There's really great factions that are split up in it, and like differing beliefs, which I think is really good. So again, love the world building. Could have used some more from the characters. They felt a little bit like they didn't have enough motivation and growth and that kind of stuff. There was one point where I was like, you say you're doing this for this reason, but like, why? Like, where's your actual, like, I need to do this moment? So that's my only critique there. And then my current read is The Bible Says So by Dan McClellan.
Oh, fun.
And I am loving it. I actually started just listening to the audiobook because I was like, I have a couple free credits on this audio thing. Let me just listen to it because I'm on airplanes all the time. But then there were so many good points that I had to get the book just so I can go in and highlight the things I know I'm going to want to refer to later. So if you are someone who watches my lives or who is part of my Patreon and you enjoy my rants, which come with citations from the works that I read and reasons and further research for you to be able to do, this is definitely going to be something I end up quoting.
Nice. I love
Yeah,
that.
I loved it. I'm not done yet, but I'm getting close. And there's evidence of planetary deities. There's evidence of like all the things that I already knew was in there, but now I have my quick reference to be like, it's this verse. Instead of what I've been doing this year is highlighting my Oxford Annotated Bible verse for verse, wherever I'm like, that's astrology, that's folk magic, that's mythology, that's appropriation from another thing. So I've been doing that. But this also is a very handy quick reference guide for those things, those burning questions that are really useful when you come into a conversation with a fundamentalist Christian and you want to know as much, probably more, than they do.
Yeah.
Which is one of my strong motivations. So
Yeah, that's fair.
Aha.
Amazing. Okay.
On the right track with that one.
Yeah, good job. Apparently you got improvement.
Yeah.
Improvement? What the fuck?
Well,
anyway.
and the best part is the deity I'm working with is an archangel. So it's like helping me fight that, which I'm super stoked.
That's fantastic. Okay. I had it open and now it's being weird. Could we technology? If you could you not there we go. Oh my god. Okay. So I started out this month reading Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. It is a book about people who reincarnate in every life and they end up killing each other in every life before they turn 18. But it has a really interesting dynamic. Things I loved about it, really quick cliff notes. Things I loved about it would be a chapter of like her in modern day and trying to figure out stuff in modern day, followed by a chapter of one of their past lives leading up to how they died. And then it would be like that, which was really cool because you really did. I will give the author props. The past lives were realistic. They made sense. Their past lives, the way that I've channeled them, not past lives in the way that people have been like, you've been a queen. It was in no way that. It was like at one time they're like fishermen on this boat in Malaysia and like that was a past life for them. And then at another point they're in Siberia and like just existing in Siberia and like this tribe and that was a past life for them. And at one point she was a clothing designer for the like opera in Paris. Like it was really, really cool. The main character is technically non-binary, but the current life is a she. So there's that. And then the like secondary character prefers to be a he when he incarnates, but is fine with anything, which I thought was like a really lovely approach with gender.
Yeah.
Really, really loved that. I really would have liked to have more of them in the current life, though, to make me invested in the relationship. That's that. I'm going to really quick spoiler it, just like really tiny, because it's a big critique for me. If you don't want to hear it, Krista, this goes for you too. You can also just take your headphones off for a second if you don't want to hear it.
No, I want to hear.
But okay, for like the next minute, I'm going to spoil it. Whoa, Krista? That was weird.
I was like, no, I want to hear. And my whole computer shut down for a second. So I guess I don't want to hear.
That was super weird. Okay. And now it says you're going to record on a new track. How interesting. All right.
Oh my God. So I guess I'm not going to pay attention to this.
Okay.
Sorry.
Take your headphones off for a second then. And then we'll go from there. Okay. Anyone who's still here who wants to get spoiled. It's kind of echoey. Can you mute you? Okay. There we go. No, I can still hear you.
Hang on. I'm going to mute my...
There we go. I got you now. Okay, so at the end, it turns out the reason they keep doing this incarnation cycle is because she's a devil, and I fucking hate the fact that they use the term devil. It could have been demon, it could have been otherworld spirit, it could have been negative entity, it could have been anything else, but using the term devil really took away from the entire storyline, and it made the wrap up, like, the ending could have ended so much differently. I'm not going to give the whole ending away, but just that little chunk. It could have been such a better wrap up. Come on back.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
That was so weird. Okay, so I guess you're supposed to read it. I don't know
I guess. What was it called again?
It's called Our Infinite Fates.
Gotcha.
Okay, and then after that, I read Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill.
Oh, I've heard about
I love it. I love it so much. It's about a monster. It's from the perspective of a monster who lives in a lake in England and has lived in that lake for like 1,000 years. She's a green teeth, which is a type of fae, and she ends up being like having to go on a quest with a human and oh my gosh, what is he? Goblin? No, I don't know, something like that. It is so cute. I love it. It really explores human emotion in a really beautiful way. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. It also leans heavily on Arthurian lore.
Ooh.
And I love Arthurian lore. I started reading after that The Bright Sword by Lev Grossman, and I'm going to be peppering that into my reading probably for the next couple months. I didn't DNF it. I'm not going to DNF it. I think it's really good, but doing it all at the same time felt weird to me, so I'm going to be doing a kind of multi-read. And then I'm almost done with The Wings of Starlight by Alison Saft, which is a prequel to the Pixie Hollow movies, but written for young adults.
Yeah.
And it is the prequel of Queen Clarion and Lord Mallory of Winter and how they like fell in love. It's so cute. And is it the best story that's ever been written? No. Do I think Clarion's personality is annoying as fuck? I do. But it's just such good vibes. It's just such good vibes, and I'm almost done with it. So I'm excited. It's been really nice. So yeah, that's what I've been reading.
Nice. Well, and with perfect timing, we actually can only do about one Higa because we have a call because we're planning something amazing for you guys. So we will take this next 5 minutes and do a Higa.
A Higa.
Okay. Oh, got it. Popped right out. All right, let me see. Okay, the first thing that popped up is, what do you look back at and think, I would never do that again?
Okay, I have a lot of those.
I typically don't, because I'm like, it's what made you stronger, blah, blah, blah.
I've made real bad choices, though. Like, to be 100% honest.
I've had real bad experiences. There are some things that's like, if I had to do something again, there's like, I could buck up and do it. I think that's a whole different idea, right? I was talking to I actually got to hang out in San Francisco with my astrology mentor last week, and we were going on philosophy about pretty much everything, including like, separating trauma from spirituality and all that stuff. And we're both Scorpio risings. So we were like, the fact that you're very good in a crisis is probably not something to be proud of, because it means that you've had to be good in crises. And so I'm checking myself right now on the like, what would I never do again if I were actually not traumatized? Like, what traumas would I rather have avoided? And there's a lot.
I don't know if it's a regret thing, but if it's like that thing happened again right now, like what would you choose not to do? Yeah.
Oh man, that goes into a different. I would not repeat this year again, ever. I would not repeat this year. I've literally told people, like, I wouldn't repeat brain surgery again. But I'll tell you, if it was that or repeating the beginning of this year, I picked brain surgery 10 times.
Wild.
I was shattered at the beginning of this year. Every part of me that I thought I knew was broken down to my final atom, and I had to pick up my pieces, and you helped me. You didn't have to help me, but you did. So acknowledgement to the best friend in the entire universe.
Love you. I'm not gonna let you shatter. That's crazy.
But it was insane. I would not do that again. Am I glad of the person that I'm coming out to be on the other side? Yes. But do I need that again? No, thank you. Yeah, there's a bunch of things, but they'll get very Scorpio moony if I keep going into them.
Wow,
so.
Yeah, your answer was a lot more serious than mine. My first thing was cliff jumping. I hate cliff jumping. If presented with the opportunity to do it again, which I am every summer, no is the answer to that question. Don't like it. At Angora Lakes up here, they have a 30, a 50, and an 80 foot drop, and I've done the 50 twice, and I hate it, and I don't want to do it ever again. I'm not into falling. I'm just not. I'm not into falling. It's not fun for me. I don't like those drop rides. I don't do falling. And I did it. I have cliff jumped. I will not again. There's that one. See. I have so many like that, to be totally honest. I'm a big on, I'll try it and then not regret it, but be like, never again.
I'll try it once. Okay, I'll add to this while you think of another one. More lighthearted things I would never do again. I will never eat grasshoppers or kui again.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Grasshoppers are the worst bug on the planet, in my personal opinion. I hate them.
I was promised chocolate, but there was no chocolate. I was promised. It's not what happened. It's literally Dan's favorite video to this day because of my reactions.
Oh my God, awful. No. I don't like the live ones. I don't like the non-live ones. I don't think I would do hallucinogens at a music festival again.
Sorry.
I'm fine with hallucinogens. I've done them many, many times and many different varieties of them. And those are fine. I will absolutely do this again. But at the context of a music festival, honestly, most of it is I've done them at multiple music festivals. I've had really good experiences and really awful experiences. But at this point in time, people have no concert culture anymore. They do not know how to act at a concert, and they especially do not know how to act at a music festival. And I don't think there would be any way for me to not have a bad trip at this point in time doing it at a music festival, to be totally honest. I will still go to music festivals, but doing that is just, it's a no-go from me.
That's fair.
Because people don't know how to be at a concert anymore. And I think partly it's because Gen Z didn't learn how to do it. I don't think Gen Z, they missed out that because of COVID and like them being in high school during that time, like when they were supposed to get to like have that like intro to concert etiquette, it just dissolved. So
the class you didn't think you needed, but you do.
Right. Yeah. And not to mention like people want social media stuff with concerts now too, instead of like actually participate. It's just, I love live music. It's a huge core part of my personality, and I just won't do that again.
Yeah.
I have more, but we'll just do those ones because other ones will just reveal even more poor decisions I've made in my life.
You don't get to this spiritual maturity without making mistakes, you guys.
No, you don't. I've done a lot of very interesting things that have resulted in other... I would not sell cars again. You couldn't fucking pay me millions and billions of dollars. I would not do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
For future Higas, which we do every month, if you want to ask us a question that will become a Higa prompt, if you are on the podcast tier of either one of our individual Patreons, you get to ask us questions in the replays because you also get early access to all of these episodes. So let us know there and we will use your question as a Higa prompt, which is really fun. You guys have the greatest ideas.
And there's a lot more bonus content on the podcast tier for both of us. Like it is, you get a ton of stuff for like less than $20 a month. So like, we would love you there.
Yeah, it's a good time. You're welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all for listening to us talk at you. We love it. So we appreciate that there's an audience.
You guys have fun. We hope this is fun. It feels like we're talking to you.
Hope that you 1, 2, 3 go make some magic.